Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I've got my updated draft for you guys. I'm going to be making two drafts in this video. One is my current team at the moment. It's a bit more obvious, as you would say. There's quite a few players in here that I think most of you guys will have in your team, which is the team that I've currently got at the moment. But then I'm also going to make a little bit of a different draft for you guys, something else that's kind of been in my head at the moment, some very different players in that team. So yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions on which draft you guys prefer, and so yeah, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so I'm going to be making these drafts on Draft Hounds tool here, as you can see. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. Using the link down in the description really helps out my channel as well. So yeah, do check it out if you enjoy what you see in this video. So starting off with the goalkeepers. So yeah, you can select the teams here. You can select ownership if you want to find some differentials in your team, and of course the position. So we're going to go for goalkeepers, and the first goalkeeper is Flekken for me. Flekken's pretty much been in every single one of my drafts. Yeah, I think he's going to become that starting goalkeeper for Brentford. Raya is definitely hinted with a move outwards, and yeah, Raya was my goalkeeper last season, got me a ton of points, was the top scoring goalkeeper. And yeah, I think Flekken can easily be that replacement. Brentford are a side that concede a lot of shots, so therefore he's going to get a lot of saves, and they're a pretty solid defence anyway. So yeah, strikes a nice balance between the two. And in terms of the backup goalkeeper, this is going to be quite an interesting one, but I am going to put Heaton in the team as he is 4 million, and he's actually been linked with a move away from Man United to Luton. So he might have a starting 4 million keeper there. So that's why he's going to be in the team. Second player in the team, we are going to clear filters there. We're going to put Estupiñán in the team. Again, been in quite a few drafts, very high ownership as well. Really good attacking statistics for Estupiñán. Brighton have incredibly good fixtures to start the season as well, so it's very likely, you would imagine, for them to keep some clean sheets. The teams they're playing as well aren't the best offensively, so yeah, Estupiñán I think is a pretty solid pick there. Next, we're going to have Gabriel. Arsenal with some incredibly good fixtures in the opening few. As you can see there, according to Draft Hound, with the predicted points for the opening three fixtures, he is the highest of any of the Arsenal defenders. I think he's the most nailed on and strikes that nice balance with attacking threat as well. But I'm mainly getting him for the clean sheets. They've also got Timber coming in as well. It'll be interesting to see how often he plays and also how attacking he is. But yeah, I think Gabriel is a solid shout there. In terms of the next pick, I'm going to be going for Luke Shaw. Again, I think that Man United have some really good opening fixtures. I think Shaw has some great attacking potential as well. I think he could definitely get some attacking returns as well as the clean sheets for Man United. And in terms of a formation, I'm going to be going with a 4-5-1 for this team, just because there's a lot of different defenses I like the look of, and I would like to try and fit in basically as many of them as possible. And the last defender is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. I just think he's too good to pass up, essentially. Even at that 8 million price point, I think he's going to be flying in with the attacking returns. I think Liverpool stand a much better chance of getting some clean sheets this season, especially with Trent playing in the midfield. I think that's where he's best at, and as you can see there, the highest predicted points out of any defender. I think I can't go without him, and I would like to get some Liverpool players in this team. Just to end, actually, we're going to go for a 4 million defender. It doesn't really matter for me at the moment who the 4 million defender is. This could be anyone. So we're just going to go for the highest, which is Baldock. In terms of predicted points, yeah, he is probably my favourite as well in terms of the 4 million defenders at this moment in time. Moving on to the midfield. We're going to get Saka in, definitely. Really feel like he's been underpriced. I feel like he has some really high potential to get points. I think he is probably the standout midfielder as well in the Arsenal midfield for me personally. I think Ødegaard massively overperformed his statistics last season. We'll wait and see if he does that again. I think he might play a different role this season as well, with the likes of Havertz coming into the team. I don't see him being as attacking this season. I could be wrong there, but yeah, I think Saka at the same price is the one for me at this moment in time. Next midfielder, we're going to go for Rashford. Those Man United fixtures look really, really nice. Rashford had an excellent season last season, and yeah, I think he's well worth his price tag at 9 million, despite being lifted up a little bit. I can see him performing really well. Again, really high ownership at 42%, so I think a lot of you already know how good Rashford is in terms of a pick. Up next, we're going to go with a Martinelli, purely because I would like to double up on that Arsenal attack. I think they were the second best in the league, and it's just really nice with the Arsenal team. You just know who's going to play week in, week out. I know that the likes of Trossard could pose a threat to Martinelli's minutes, but saving that 0.5 million, and he's just an exceptionally good player, and I think Arsenal are going to create a lot of chances, and I think Martinelli will get quite a few attacking returns. Of course, next we're going to go for Mitoma. Got to have a Brighton attacker in there somewhere with how good their fixtures are, and I do think Mitoma just about gets the nod for me. Of course, Gross and March, funnily enough, are considered very, very close to Mitoma. His ownership is certainly a lot higher. Moving on to the attackers, of course, there's actually only going to be one starting striker in this team with the 4-5-1 formation. Of course, that is Haaland, and of course he is going to get that captaincy armband as well. Certainly just an absolute pick in this team. Picks himself, we know how good he is. By far the highest predicted points on the site, and yeah, pretty much in everyone's team. And in terms of the other two forwards, the first one I'm going to go for is Morris as a nice substitute there, a starting striker on penalties as well. He's going to be a good substitute here, and I will also just check on the site who is the best 4.5 million striker to have that money in the bank. Yeah, Archer seems to be the one who is predicted to get any kind of minutes whatsoever on the site, so yeah, in he goes. And lastly, we have 8 million in the bank here for a midfielder. However, I'm not actually going to go for an 8 million midfielder. I'm going to go for a 7.5 here, and I'm going to put in Jack Grealish purely because of how good his minutes are, and of course doubling up on that Man City attack, which I don't think many people will go for. Foden as well, I think, is a nice pick down there, a bit lower at 12.5. In terms of expected points, again, his predicted minutes is a bit lower. We'll have to wait and see what happens with these Man City players before the transfer window closes, as there's a lot of question marks over the likes of Mahrez, over Bernardo Silva, a lot of these players. So we will have to wait and see how many of these players are nailed, basically. But Grealish, I think, is the best in terms of expected minutes. I know his data isn't quite as good, but I think if Haaland's going to be getting points, and I think Grealish is going to be getting points as well. And as you can see here, 61.5% points predicted for this team here. Morris as well, first on the bench. And there's even 0.5 here to use on transfers further down the line. This is really nice from Draft Town. You can see the next game week, the chance of scoring as well. This will be an interesting one. So, oh yeah, obviously Flecken on 0, but yeah, some decent percentages even from the defenders here. Mitoma's actually surprisingly low there. I didn't expect Mitoma's to be so low there. Haaland, over 70% likelihood of scoring, and most of the others above about 1 in 3 chance. Even chance of a brace, chance of a hat-trick here. Let's see. Haaland with a 12.1% chance of a hat-trick. His chance of a hat-trick is apparently higher than most other players, most of the defenders scoring 1 goal, which is interesting. Chance of an assist, I'm guessing Mitoma must be... No, Mitoma's much lower. That's very interesting. I don't know how they've calculated Mitoma's points to be higher than the other two and so much lower than the rest in the team. I will have to look at that. But yeah, that is very interesting how the percentage for Mitoma there, they've got, and then their calculations is significantly lower. You know, that's basically saying if you were to play the game 9 times, Mitoma would only assist in 1 of them. That's quite interesting to see there. And Haaland's assist percentage added to his goal scoring percentage pretty much gets to 100% there nearly. So yeah, very likely to get some kind of an attacking return there. So yeah, that's how my draft currently looks at the moment. This 4-5-1 formation and covering most of the top attacks here. However, if you've been watching the channel for a while, or even if you're new, get subscribed to the channel. I can't believe you've taken so long to find me. But yeah, if you're new to this channel, I love a differential and I love to play a little bit different to everyone else. And as you can see here, this team, as strong as it does look, the ownership of the players is very high. This is quite a template team. So I'm now going to reset and make a bit of a different team here, quite a differential team here. So in goal, I am going to start off with the exact same in terms of the goalkeepers, because Flekken himself, only 3.8% ownership. That will probably go up, but I have confidence in Flekken and I have confidence in the Brentford defence. I like to go as cheap as possible with the goalkeepers, put as much money elsewhere in the team, because if you look at the end of the season, when it comes to the top scoring goalkeepers, it's never the expensive ones. So I just like to put in a cheap goalkeeper from the start and just stick with them through the season. So going into defense, this is going to be an interesting one. This is actually going to be a freemium draft. So 3 premiums are going to be in this team. Going on to the defenders, I'm going to stick with Alexander-Arnold. He's going to stick in the team. We're also going to change the formation up here from the 4-5-1. But yeah, Trent's still got to be in the team here. Up next, looking at the predicted points here, I'm actually going to go for Akanji. Now, again, this is a bit risky. This would be based on the... I'm waiting for this predicted lineups thing. It's hopefully going to be coming out soon on Draft Hound. We'll be waiting to see what team news we get from Man City as well, as they are the early kickoff. But I would like to have a Man City defender, because I just think not many people are going to have one. And Akanji, I did really like last season. Got me quite a few points in times of need. I do really like Akanji as a pick there. Something a little bit different as well. And the other one is going to be interesting. I'm not going to go for Luke Shaw. Oh dear, how far down is he? Oh, there he is. I'm going to go for Dalot. Now that's probably, I'm going to guess, if I can have a look at the expected minutes here. Yeah, 48 minutes. So he's not expected to do very well in terms of the minutes. But I reckon Dalot, if he starts, is a better pick than Shaw. I think his attacking threat is slightly better. He is cheaper as well, but obviously the threat is that Wan-Bissaka can very easily take minutes off him. But I really like Dalot as a pick, certainly very different to a Shaw. And yeah, I reckon if he starts, he does really, really well. I remember him getting back-to-back 9-pointers for me in my team last season. So yeah, a little bit of a risky one. This is quite a risky team in terms of the minutes. And yeah, that's going to be it in terms of the defenders. So I'm going to go for the 4 million defenders again. And it doesn't really matter in this case. I'm going to put Baldock in. And in terms of the defenders, let's just put... Ooh, let's just put Bell in for now, because that's just the that will just be, they're not going to play. It's going to be a pretty set starting 11. So going into the midfielders, player who's certainly lacking in a lot of teams. You can probably figure out who it's going to be. It's going to be Mohamed Salah. I pretty much always have him in my team. I don't think there's been any season where I haven't had him in my starting lineup, and yeah, I mean, he just always seems to do well in that opening fixture. Yes, most of his opening fixtures are the fixture is pretty easy in comparison to, you know, what it could be. But Salah always starts the season off really strong, and he's a proven asset over 6 seasons. So yeah, I would really, really like to have him. We're not going to have Saka in this team as well. We are going to have Martinelli in the team. Let's switch back here to the points over 3 game weeks to see how it compares. But yeah, we're going to go for Martinelli. There's a bit of a difference in the Arsenal attack, just because of Saka's ownership being so high. Again, we are going to go for probably Foden. This Man City midfielder could be whoever we get in terms of, you know, who we think is going to be starting regularly in terms of minutes. But next we are going to go for March. We're going to go for Solly March, because as you can see here, the ownership is massively different between Mitoma and March. But as we can see, March could, I believe, when it came to the points over the season, March actually got significantly more. Yes, that was because he played more games. But again, there are games where March gets a ton of points, Mitoma doesn't, and then vice versa. So we could easily see that happen again. That's going to be the Brighton attack basically covered there. Moving on to the forwards, we're going to go for Harry Kane. So there's going to be no Haaland in this team. We're going to have Trent, we're going to have Salah, and we're going to have Kane. So we're going to have 3 premiums that aren't Haaland, which I'm hoping they cover for them. That could be completely wrong in my thinking, but yeah, I'm basically hoping that they cover for him. Kane, a proven asset over multiple seasons, so yeah, the hope would be that he can do the business for me and can cover for lacking Haaland in the team. Next, in terms of the attack, we're going to put João Pedro in there. Now, this is a player who not a lot of us know much about because we haven't seen many preseason games. We don't know if he's going to get the minutes, but if he does get regular minutes, I know he might not be playing as a forward. He might be playing as a number 10. He might be playing in midfield. For 5.5 million in Brighton's team, I think he could be incredible value. He could be really good if he gets the minutes. I will see how many expected minutes he's got on the site. 55, so not quite 60. I'm a bit worried about Akanji's 59 there as well. Imagine if he got subbed off at 59 minutes. But yeah, I think João Pedro can be a pretty dangerous asset. In terms of the forwards, we're just going to go for a 4.5 million midfielder here. 4.5 million forward. Archer again. No, we'll go for Semenyo, just for someone a bit different. And then we've got 8.5 for the last midfielder. And actually, you know what? I know I said I wouldn't go for him. Sorry, I need to clear the filters. I know I said I wouldn't go for him, but we could have Saka. I'm going to put Bruno Fernandes in there just so that we've got someone from the Man United attack just to cover that. And then yeah, so we captain Salah there, and we got 52.8 points. So that's quite a lot lower than the previous team. That's nearly 10 lower, isn't it? It's about 9 lower. But I want to know what you guys think of this draft. March could obviously be somewhat. It could be like a Mbeumo, so I don't double up on the Brighton attack. What do you reckon about João Pedro as a pick? Certainly something a bit different. And again, the likes of Foden could easily be switched out. This is quite a bit of a different draft. Again, my initial game week 1 team will probably be somewhere in between the middle. I do like to go differential. However, it's always good to play it safe at the start of the season. It's terrible if you're playing catch up at the start like I was last season. I really managed to gain the ground by making the right calls and going for these differentials. I started off the season at about 1.8 million, but then ended up finishing nearly inside the top 300k. That's just because of how poor my start was. So maybe I don't want to be too risky here, but I'm just sort of highlighting some players that I think can do well if they get the minutes and that not many people are thinking about at the moment. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. A little bit of a different take in terms of making a draft. Do you guys, well, I'm presuming most of you prefer the template draft that I made, as that's what most of your teams will look like. But what do you guys reckon about not going with Haaland? Do you think that having Salah, Kane and Trent in a team can cover for the likes of Haaland? Maybe I'd have Saka in this team as well. I think Saka could easily be the top point scorer from the first 3 game weeks, given how fantastic Arsenal's fixtures are. I probably do need a bit more Arsenal in this team, looking at it. Only 1 player in it at the moment. And maybe Arsenal defender as well. I just remember that last season that Arsenal did tend to lose their clean sheets at home nearer the end of games. So maybe that's going to happen again. I doubt it. I think they were quite a bit unlucky, as were Man City were losing their clean sheets. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know which draft you prefer in the comments below. I'll leave a link to Draft Hound as well if you want to check out that in the description. And I'll see you in the next FPL video.